So Netflix is back with season 2 of Squid Game, aka rich people are bored and they need poor people to entertain them. And it was a lot per usual. So we start off episode 1 with the conclusion of that conversation that was being had at the end of season 1. Byung-hun was about to get on the airplane, but then he decided to make a phone call. Now he gets on a call with the front man, and the front man is like, get on the plane, bruh. That's the best choice you can make right now. You've made a lot of bad choices over your life, including this Kelly Rowland Simply Deep look you trying to pull off. You already played the games and won. Don't turn back around and play more games. And I agree with the front man on this one. You literally had a conversation with Byung-hun and you said you were going to be a real father this time. Only for you to be standing right there at the flight that's going to take you to see your daughter. And what do? Say, nah, I can't do that. I got to star in Deadbeat Part 2. So Officer Juno finally wakes up after being shot off that cliff by his brother Inho. So then we fast forward years later and you see he's a traffic officer because he got tired of going back and forth with his boss trying to get them to investigate the stuff that went down on that island. And his boss was like, well, we don't have any evidence of where you were. And you said you sent pictures, but we don't have any evidence of that at all. And then his boss straight up asked him, do you know the guy that shot you? Can you describe him? And Jun-ho was like, no. So he lying now. And this is where I had a problem because I'm like, why are you protecting your brother? He knowingly shot you and left you for dead. It was different when you shot him because literally he had on a mask. You didn't know who that was. So then we get back to Sung-yeon and he's paying Mr. Kim and all his men to canvass the subway to find the Dachi man that recruited him. And of course they don't believe him because they've been canvassing for over 2 years and have yet to find anybody that closely resembles this guy, let alone seeing somebody that's playing Dachi. Then as luck would have it, Mr. Choi and Mr. Kim were sitting there arguing about the situation as it was. And Mr. Choi, he is so extra. I love him. He seemed kind of stupid, but I kind of mess with him. But Mr. Kim is actually starting to believe Gi-yeon though. And then boom, they hear that slap. They spot their guy and they call Mr. Song. So now they got a trailing while Mr. Song is on his way, which wasn't the easiest task to do. He was moving slow, but it seemed like he was moving a lot faster. You know, crazy people be having their own pacing. And when I say crazy, I do mean crazy with this guy. Because you got to be thrown off just a little bit to do some of the stuff that he was doing. Like going to the store and buying 100 pieces of bread and then also buying 100 lottery scratch-offs and going to the park to play bread or lottery ticket with these homeless people. Knowing that a lot of these people are mentally unwell, he probably knew that the majority of them were going to choose the lottery ticket over the bread. And then when he was done playing the game, he dumped all the bread on the ground. And then one of the homeless people was like, why are you wasting good bread? And he was like, I didn't waste that bread, y'all did. He was like, you had a choice and you chose not bread. Then proceeded to curb stomp that bread so they couldn't have it. And this is one of yet many instances that told me that he was crazy. Meanwhile, Kim and Choi are at the park watching all this go down. And they like, what's wrong with this man? And where's Gi-yeon? Because this man is slippery as hell. Because now Mr. Dachi done slipped into a cab and a chase got to ensue. Now Mr. Song is driving as fast as he can. Now anybody that was watching the show could have projected what was going to happen next because the man was speeding. Of course he was going to get pulled over. And the expectation was that it was going to be Jung-ho. Now what I did not expect is for him to tell the rookie to do it. But of course that's what happened because that's how TV works. Writers love doing that thing where they slow you down just enough to make you miss that thing that you were rushing to get to. And after that, the rookie was talking to Jung-ho and was like, that was kind of weird. He didn't really say anything. He just took his ticket and sped off. And Jung-ho was like, how was his background check? You find anything? The rookie was like, his record seemed pretty clean. And then Jung-ho looked at the name and was like, oh, I miss my guy. That one time that I didn't gave you an opportunity, I missed my chance. If it would have been Jung-ho pulling him over and talking to him, he would have been there even longer. See, the rookie didn't know how to keep him there. Look, and Mr. Kim and them called him while he was getting his ticket. And Kim and Choi were doing pretty good at first, and then they got impatient. And if I'm being completely honest, they didn't strike me as the type of people to be up for this task. And I was right, because Kim was like, hey, we should just jump him and grab him before he gets away, because Song is taking too long. Now, to his credit, Choi did say, I don't think we should do this. He seems a little thrown off. And then Kim was like, man, but it's $1 billion won. And I totally get that. If you really trying to go for the Billy, go for the Billy. But at least be smart about it. Kim's behavior let me know that he wasn't going to get that billion. Because this man ran up behind him talking about, hey, you. Like, what? You don't even do that to a normal person. I would have jumped you. But you definitely don't do it to a person that's a mental case. You just gave that man time to prepare. So, of course, he laid hands on him with ease. Like he was using that briefcase like it was nothing. And having a good time doing it. By the time Gi-yeon gets there, they done got snatched up. They are not there. All he could find is a little blood on a bag. He could tell, oh yeah, they got handled. Meanwhile, Mr. Dachi is watching him from a nice and safe vantage point. So Mr. Dachi walks back in there and he starts talking to Mr. Kim and Choi. So they all beat up and tied up. And he was like, let's play a game. Bruh, these folks are really obsessed with games. He proceeds to make them play one of the most intense games of rock, paper, scissors, mixed with Russian roulette. And in that game, Mr. Kim was not so lucky and he was eliminated. And then he said, let's have a conversation, Mr. Choi. So Choi gets him up to speed on what's going on. And now Jung-ho is trying to figure out how to catch up with Mr. Song. So he's over here doing research. So now he knows where the car is rented from, what company did it, finds out it's Mr. Kim's company. So goes over there to check it out. He climbs up the wall with his bare hands in the rain. So if you ever were going to say it, this is the time to say it. He's a man. Cause what was that? Even Batman has gadgets. So after snooping around a bit in the office, he ends up getting the information that he needed to find Mr. Sung. And at this point, all directions are leading to the pink. So when Sung-yeon gets home, he recognizes that that light is on, and normally that sign is not on. So now he knows to be on edge. So he gets to his room and Mr. Dotchke is like, I heard you were looking for me. And he was just looking around like, oh, you did all this research, all this searching for me? Had the gun in his hand. So then they started having a nice back and forth, and he was telling him, you know, I'm a recruiter now, but like back in the day, I used to work the games. And he said, one day they gave me a gun. Made him feel a bit important, like they finally see me as somebody. And then he went on to state the obvious, which is that the people that run the games don't see the players as human, but trash, and they're easily disposable. And it was to the point that he said one of the people was begging him not to kill him in the game, and then it turned out to be his actual father. And he said, you know what I did? Popped him right in the forehead. And of course, Mr. Dotchke suggested that they play yet another game. I don't know why these folks didn't just have kids and play games with them. Maybe they want higher stakes. And I guess you can't play Russian roulette with a baby. So Mr. Dotchke and Sung are out here just getting a roulette on. And with every bulletless click, the smack talk gets even more intense. And so we get to Mr. Sung's turn, and it's on the 5th round. And so it's a 50-50 chance that this is his last breath. And then Mr. Dotchke is out here talking cash crazy. He's like, are you feeling some kind of way because you got a 1 in 2 chance that you're going to make it out of here? He was like, I bet I know what's going through your head right now. You're probably thinking, I already got the gun. All I need to do is pull the trigger twice and pop this man in the head, grab what I need out of his pocket, and be off to the wizard as planned. But you're going to have to admit something to me first. It's that you are just as trash and insignificant as everybody else. And the only reason you made it out of the game alive is because you got lucky. And then it got very intense because Mr. Sung started leaning in. He started holding that trigger more tightly, started shaking in the hands. He was sweating, and then he pulled, and then you heard click, followed by a huge exhale of relief. And in that moment, Mr. Dotchke recognized a few things. One, it's your turn, baby. And it's a 1 in 1 chance that you're going to bite that bullet. 2, yesterday's price ain't today's price. You are dealing with a different Sung-yeon. You are the lapdog that Sung said you were, and you are just as insignificant as you tried to say everybody else was. And it's funny because Sung didn't have to say anything to him before that, but he did. And it was so funny because he flipped his own words against him. He was like, what's the problem? You know, you could shoot me. But you'll have to admit to me that I was absolutely right about what you are for them. So of course, Mr. Dotchke decided to take that one to the head. Game over. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. I think the season started off really well. It kept my attention and kept me interested the whole time. So I can't wait to see what the next episodes are going to bring. What did y'all think of the episode? Did y'all pick up on anything that I missed? Please like, comment below, share if you can, subscribe. I will be posting more videos here soon. Thanks for tuning in.